I can't understand the actions of my master plan. Can a nigga revel in the thoughts of a day? I can't understand the actions of my master plan. Can a nigga revel in the thoughts of a day?
Let it just be, innit? Still shitting on niggas. Still shitting on them.
Yes, so check it out, Vibe by What TV. So listen, we're gonna get into a track reaction. So we're gonna get into Car. I'm gonna do a couple of tracks off of his latest album, I guess, or albums. Well, I mean, I did language arts, so we'll call it album, which is Woeful Studies. I didn't do a review for this one because I did feel like, you know, a lot of the themes thematically kind of also take place on language arts. And I did just slightly, in my opinion, prefer language arts to Woeful Studies. But the more and more that I've listened to Woeful Studies, I began to appreciate it even more. So yeah, I'm not going to do the entire album, but I'm just going to do a couple of tracks off of it that kind of are some of my favorites that I feel like I would like to get into. So right now we're going to get into I'm Tired. And yo, as I say, this one's off Woeful Studies. Check it out. The beat is like so eerie and just almost slightly off tune and off beat, off kilter even. And it's just like, it's somber. Obviously, even with the cover art of Woeful Studies, I feel like all the songs, all the tracks kind of fittingly match up to the album art. It's weird, where it's almost like a derelict classroom almost, ceilings falling through. There's like on the chalkboard scribblings that look like they've been there for a long time all over the chalkboards. Obviously there's like dirt and kind of debris all over the floor. Chairs are upside down, chairs have been knocked over. It seems like it's not been used in a long time. It's Woeful Studies, isn't it? Like education taking place. And I feel like it's a wider analogy for kind of the state of affairs where supposed education is taking place in underprivileged, underfunded, and with underrepresented people, basically, in these destituted and uncatered for institutes, let's say, where children and teachers themselves as well are not really being given and provided with the necessary resources in order for them to prosper, whether it's in the teaching or in the education. You know, a lot of the times you find in these type of environments, there's teachers who are there who somewhat have their hands tied behind their back, where they're not able to actually fully implement the ideas that modern society needs to the children, because the children are having to maybe just, you know, almost be funneled through curriculums that are outdated and are ancient and don't serve a purpose in today's society or a purpose for the children themselves. And also it's kind of in those type of environments, a lot of the times you find teachers who also maybe don't necessarily, it's not that they don't care for the kids, but they see it as a job as opposed to having a huge fundamental responsibility to children and to their futures and to the future of society and in the American case, the future of America, which is obviously the children. So I feel like definitely those are things that are conveyed through the album art. But then when you listen to the songs themselves, it's like Car's almost talking about how a lot of things which necessarily might not, a lot of the things that almost like have been taught to the children through American society have not lived up to their end of the bargain, have not lived up to expectation. They're not even all the way true. They're almost like quarter truths or half truths. And then you have to grow to a place where you unlearn a lot of things for you to even begin to progress. But at the same time, like these things, these institutional ideas and these kind of outdated kind of nationalist principles almost weigh heavy on children and young adults and adults themselves, where you get jaded, you get tired, you get worn down, you get beat down. And this song here in particular, it's called I'm Tired, as I've mentioned, and in regards to kind of the black populace itself, a lot of people are tired, they're drained, because a lot of the things that maybe they've been going through for a long time. Maybe their parents have been going through it. Maybe their grandparents have been going through it. And it's cyclical, and it's a cycle that's kind of continued on throughout the ages. So it's very, very layered. And this is obviously how Carr is as a musician. He's very layered. There's always a point of reference that he provides if you listen carefully. But yeah, you didn't come here for me to talk, so let me just get into this.
Never needed weapons in my palms, my arms was dangerous. Doing karate before we knew the potty, that's how they changed us, heinous. Still naming our babies after these crazies that named us. More criminal, wicked than my original lipid. We became this.
I just have to
come to terms, either die from germs or become tolerant. Y'all troopers made.
I mean, ain't that some shit? He said nutrition moved from the new food, but we still devoured it.
They deflowered it. Tired of being an underdog. Tired of being an underdog. Used to address problems with revolvers. Got no resolve. Can't wait for.
Used to address problems with a revolver. Got no resolve. That's deep. You can take that many different ways, but how I take that is that, you know, whenever an issue would raise, especially within communities, like a lot of the times it leads to tragic endings, whether weaponry is being drawn, guns are being drawn, when a lot of the times, if you just had some resolve and some patience to actually air things out, maybe in a worst case, you just, you throw hands, you could resolve these issues, but a lot of the times it goes from 0 to 100 because people don't have any resolve, they don't have any patience, they don't have any resolve.
Cold feet, you barking up wrong tree, I slowly call. When rest is trash and that direction is cash, you know we charged. We tight, thumbing every night like it's no tomorrows. Our chances from infant was infinitesimal. And to be successful had to be exceptional. It was hardly a...
That's deep. That's deep. So to be successful, you had to be exceptional. How many people in maybe, not so much nowadays, not so much, but I guess it still happens, but definitely in the yesteryear, possibly in the generation, a lot of the times, they say you got to work twice as hard as your counterparts because, they don't even necessarily say what the because is. It might just be, obviously we know it's because people are black or from ethnic backgrounds, so you might have to work twice as hard. But why is that the case? Why has it been set up like that? Why is it a thing where I can't just be at a level playing field with my counterpart and reach success? How comes they can just move at an average pace almost and get to where they need to be, but I have to now struggle and strive and work twice, if not more, times harder than them just to reach sometimes a fraction of or a level playing field with them. Why is that the case? A lot of the times as I'm saying, why is the case? That's not the things that get addressed. That's not the things that get taught necessarily. It's just the idea. Work twice as hard. Why? Because you're black or because you're an ethnic minority, you're Asian or whatever it might be. Okay, but what implication does that have? What historical backdrop has? Do you understand? Like, those are the things a lot of the times that aren't necessarily taught. And if you listen, as I say, this is exactly what he's talking about right here. So, yeah, I feel like that as a lyric sums up a lot of what Carr's overall ideas are, but especially on this album and also on language arts as well.
Party some nights still it was a festival. All this we stressing through and every lesson both trying to lessen. I'm tired of being an underdog. Trying to get over God. I don't be preaching no glamours. From the east where the seats to clamor. Gotta reach for hammers. Always men of action. Need some decent planners. It's my people apps who keep tabs on police with scanners. My stance always been advanced. Only retreat from cameras. Told them cold on the streets, but warmly beating with nappers. Seems godless in cameras. Told them with scanners. My stance always been advanced.
He said my stance has always been advanced. He said my stance has always been advanced. Only retreat from cameras. But even just before that, he said I don't be preaching no glamours, and that's like a direct contradiction to how a lot of contemporary rappers, I would say artists in general, but rappers, how they approach the game and fame and notoriety and their audience, because a lot of it is the idea of selling you on the ideas of being rich or materialistic and having, when a lot of the times people are coming from backgrounds where they don't have. So how is it a case of now you are now selling the idea of luxury and material when you've come from a background of having less? So it's like, for you to be preaching about glamours and the fame and the highlights is almost a contradiction against your people almost. But at the same time, we've kind of readily accepted that because that's what people are striving for. You know what I'm saying? So what comes with that, especially, let's say, for example, if you become a successful artist or whatever, like, you are going to very much be in the forefront where there's going to be cameras and there's going to be people who are now trying to get access to you. But as he's saying, that's not the ideals. That's not what we're looking for here. That's not where the purpose lies. You know what I'm trying to say? So you retreat from, you might have the status, but you retreat from cameras because that's not what I'm trying to convey. Do you understand?
Told him cold on the streets, but warm and beat with neighbors. Seems regardless in the driver's seat, can't stand us. Proper friend of mine kept me in line, teach my manners. Saw Mike Unique for the cheap seats, can almost reach the banners. Play for keeps, stayed on our feet, too hungry to eat the canvas. Rushing to the same net, it ain't love, I seek advantage. Can't leave that depraved unscathed, and people damaged. I'm tired of being an underdog. I'm trying to get over God. Went from hot-headed soldier to the coldest bard. It's hard to know Jah, but know he knows Jihad. Trying to get over God.
It's hard to know Jah when all you know is jihad. That one there is powerful as well. Jah, obviously, as I'm sure many of you will know, is another word for God. And that's something that kind of, I'm not going to get into all that. But yeah, that's another word for God. But he's saying it's hard to know God basically when all you know is jihad. When all you know is strife and hardship and struggle. It's hard to keep God in the forefront of your mind. Cool, you might have faith. You might have faith that, you know, things are going to pay off. But when so much is happening to you in real time, it's hard for you to keep sight of that sometimes because you're just literally embedded and surrounded by the struggle and strife and hardship that's happening right in front of you. So that's what he's talking to there. Dun, dun, dun.
We were no longer members of a small community called Ocean Hill Brownsville. We were brought to W.E.B. Du Bois, his readings, Langston Hughes, Malcolm X, Marcus Garvey, H. Brown, Mao Zedong, the Red Book. I mean, we became international. And it was a good thing.
So yo, that was I'm Tired off of Woeful Studies. Like, comment, subscribe. As always, come back for another one if you mess with the material. And we out.